Okay, what's going on, tycoons? So for today, we're looking at NVDA. Um, this is one of the requested tickers as well, and NVIDIA has just been absolutely killing it. Honestly, I missed the move on it. I was just been kind of busy. But man, this one ran up really, really big. So is NVIDIA a buy right now? No, I would say no. I mean, if you're looking to buy shares right now, I would not buy shares at all-time highs. Okay. I would wait for the stock to breathe. All right. If you look here, we have intraday here. We have a little bit of a Harami doji right here. So that basically is like an indecision candlestick. So the stock had this big, massive run up. We're having this doji, and more than likely, because it's Nvidia, it will keep going up. But it has earnings coming up, and this has been a big earnings season. There's been a big chip shortage. Nvidia is one of the best, if not the best, chip company currently at the moment. So I don't see why they wouldn't destroy earnings, but you never know how the stock price reaction will go. I think that there's still going to be some room to go up from earnings, like leading into earnings. So if you wanted to get into some call options and try to maybe day trade or swing trade some call options on NVIDIA, I'll go ahead and show you guys some bullish price targets you guys can look at. But for now, I'm going to show you guys just on a long-term perspective, okay? So if you notice, NVIDIA does very well at running up, running up, getting way above all of these simple moving averages, okay? And right now, it's parabolic over it, okay? It recently had a stock split, okay? That's what this is. This is when NVIDIA split. And ever since it split, it's been, recovering and performing very well ever since October, okay? In October, it was at like 200, and now we're at we recently hit highs of 314 today at the moment. We do have the daily gap down to 235. So I definitely think that, hey, if you can catch that daily gap down to 235, I don't mind that as a long-term average zone to start accumulating maybe some shares or maybe some really, really long dated leap options. But otherwise, I would stay away from it right here. It could run up more due to earnings and then crash, or it could just blow through earnings and hit 400. Honestly, with Nvidia and with the market, the way the market's been recently, it's been pumping a lot of stocks. A lot of stocks have been dumping. Okay, stocks are having big reactions to earnings lately. Um, Peloton just went down 30%. Pinterest is down a bunch. Snapchat, Twitter. A lot of these companies have been dropping. So just keep that in mind with earnings coming up. So we have the daily gap here. If we do drop, I don't mind this here as a long-term position. This is our 50 SMA. It'll probably, if the stock falls to here, it'll probably be bouncing off the 50 SMA. And, if we get to here, I just think that anytime it touches any of these SMAs is going to be a good long-term average zone. And the chart has just respects that and shows you why. Anytime it comes down here to any of the SMAs, it recovers and it performs well. So I would definitely recommend getting shares there. Now, if you want to go ahead and day trade or swing trade some call options and try to play earnings, some bullishness on earnings, I'll go ahead and pull up the 4-hour chart and I'll give you guys some 4-hour price targets. So real quick, it's been giving us signs that it was about to go on a major bull run. As you can see, it ran up, consolidated, ran up, and here at this moment, we had a little bit of some slight bullish divergence. So basically the stock kind of flatlined and it made a slightly lower low. But on the RSI at these moments, we had a low and then a higher low. And it continued to kind of ride that momentum, even as the stock was dropping lower. It continued to kind of ride that momentum, consolidate, recover, and then eventually break out, okay? So that was our first sign of bullishness on NVIDIA heading into earnings. She said, oh man, we've already got some hidden bullishness on the 4-hour chart. I can go ahead and get some contracts for December, let's say 250, right? And those would be deep in the money now, worth extremely a lot. That's how I would have played the move if I had been paying attention to NVIDIA due to earnings. But the market's just been so much everywhere. It's been hard to catch every play. So I'm just recapping this one. Maybe we can catch this earnings run up, okay? If it runs up some more. All right. So we do have a little bit of some like bearish divergence it had on the previous day before it ran up like this, where it went from here to here. That was kind of like some bearish divergence. And if you notice, it kind of bounced off of that, or appears to maybe be bouncing off of that. But I wouldn't pay too much attention to that anymore because it just flew right past that bearish divergence. This is the trend line, okay, from that initial like slight bullish divergence. All right. So if the stock crashes and let's say it crashes to here, and this is quote unquote crashing, all right, it probably is going to bounce somewhere near off of here, off of this bullish divergence, most likely. Okay, so you could see a quick bounce and then pop. All right. And 313.5, basically 314. Okay, the drawing's just slightly off a little bit, but 314 is going to be our breakout. Okay, because that's our high. So once we make new all-time highs, all right, this is going to be our next resistance, or basically like bullish price target. You can take profit here at 333, and then once we get past 333, 354 would be your next take profit zone. You can take profit there. And outside of that, you know, you can just set a trailing stop loss and see how high it can go, because NVDA is just a monster company. We do have this trend line here that we may bounce off of. Okay, that's what this little yellow line is. And that's what I was trying to say with, you know, if the stock falls, you know, look for it to bounce somewhere like around in here, like this on the RSI. Okay. Right, so kind of like a bounce here or a bounce here in the next couple of days along this trend line from this initial, where I was showing you guys that bearish divergence was, where we had this initial pop, okay, and it made a high and then a lower high, but the stock made a higher high. That was our initial bearish divergence, okay, and we ran up today. We're trading past that now in this time frame. And overall, the stock is pretty bullish. If it needs to take a breather so that it can run up more, that's healthy. And I think that it could bounce off of this initial trend line right here. And you know, it also has this it also has that that bullish divergence from right there. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense to everyone, and you know, I'm not just rambling too much. Let me know if it makes sense. Let me know if you think that NVIDIA is going to 400, if you think it's going back to 200, what you think of this analysis, and you know, any fundamental you know, data that you have on it. Okay, this is pretty much just technicals. All right. You know, no fundamental analysis as far as like what the company's earnings report is going to be, and you know, I don't have any outlook on that. This is just strictly technical. Okay.